This is the time of year that juniors should start thinking about their college applications, especially the essay of the college application, which is one of the especially daunting parts of the process. I want to discuss with you first why colleges ask for an essay, what to do and what not to do, and also give you some troubleshooting advice. First, college essays are especially important to liberal arts colleges, which encourage students to think broadly, as well as selective colleges, which receive applications from many worthy students that have similar scores and grades. College essays are also useful in presenting a well-rounded picture of your skills, your experience, and your personal traits, especially in places where your GPA or your ACT/SAT scores might be lacking. Remember that your essay sets you apart from the other talented candidates, so it's important to sell yourself. This is your only chance to show your voice and tell your story, and it's really the only place that offers insight into who you are as a person. Remember that colleges are looking for thoughtful, motivated students who will add something to their school, and so you want to show that you are that type of person. When you're working on your college essays, first make sure that you start early and write several drafts, and when you are writing, you need to narrow your focus. Write about something specific that happened to you or something specific about you that reveals something personal about you. And also make sure that you reflect on that experience or interest or trait in a way that describes what you learned from it and how it changed you. It is important to be comfortable showing your vulnerability. Remember, they're not expecting you to be perfect. It also is important that you show and don't tell that you embody certain traits or beliefs. What I mean by that is don't say I am hardworking or I am smart. Instead, show them by telling them the story and let them come up with that conclusion themselves. This is a good place for you to show your creativity. You can be creative in the structure, you can employ dialogue, or you can even use vivid descriptions. But even through the whole process, you want to make sure that you're always considering your audience. You want to stand out, but you want to make sure it's in a positive way. Once you're all done, have one or two other people review your essay. The first person that you should look to would be a teacher or a college counselor. And as they're reviewing it, it should take place in two stages. The first stage should be purely for content. Is the story making sense? Is it answering the question? Is it saying what we want it to say about you? And then the second stage would be more for grammar and usage. Again, because this is one of the only places where you can show your voice, you want to make sure that whoever is reviewing your essay doesn't change the voice of the essay. As you're working on the college essays, make sure that you do not just jump right into the writing. Make sure you outline first. Also, don't try to put your whole life into one essay or think that you need to have a happy ending or solution. Also, you don't want to contradict or even repeat any other part of your application. They are already seeing your grades and your extracurriculars and the courses you took. You don't need to talk about that in the essay. Try not to focus so much on sounding smart. Focus more on sounding like yourself. And along that lines, don't write about something you don't care about. Again, considering your audience, I would avoid one-liners, cliches, and also anything that can be offensive. And then don't try to just fill it up with words because you're trying so hard to reach that 650 word limit. If you could say what you need to say in 500 words, that's totally fine. If it takes more, that's fine too. But don't be redundant or add in things that are irrelevant just to try to beef it up. Also, a lot of colleges have in their applications other essays about why are you interested in this school or why do you want to major in that field. So make sure you look throughout the whole application to see if they're looking for additional essays. Now, some troubleshooting, especially in regards to getting started. If you're having a hard time choosing a topic, I would suggest asking yourself these questions. Start with, who am I? That helps to focus in on your personality traits. Then you can start with or go on to, why am I here? That focuses on your progression throughout high school. What's unique about me? Think about your traits, your interests, and your skills. And also think about what matters to me. If you're still having trouble coming up with a topic, maybe ask a friend or a family member, what do you think differentiates me? What are my quirks? Some people have an easy time picking their topic, but have difficulty in choosing an opening sentence or a way to grab the reader's attention. Here are some suggestions of ways to start out your essay. You could have a cliffhanger of something that will be resolved later on in the essay. You can have a descriptive account of the setting or the place and time so that the reader can easily visualize what situation you're talking about. You can also directly quote words or dialogue from whoever is involved in the story. Not like an abstract quote from some famous speech, but if you're telling a story, you can put quotes around some kind of conversation that the people involved are having. You could start with a counterintuitive statement, something that's going to be explained later, or a direct question that inspires intrigue in the reader, gets the reader wondering. You could also start with the end. You can start with the concluding lesson that you learned from the story you're going to tell. Now that we've gone through why these essays are important, what to do, what not to do, and some troubleshooting for how to get started, I want to go through the common application essay prompts. There are 7 of them. And for each one, I'm going to show you the prompt, help you to come up with some strategies for brainstorming your response, give you some suggestions for possible ways that you can answer, and then reiterate what is the main point. Why would a college want this essay to be sent to them? What are they looking for? The first prompt that you have to choose from, and remember there are 7, some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. So to brainstorm some possible answers or ways that you could respond to this, start with asking yourself, how do you spend your free time and why? What is it about your upbringing, your identity, or your experiences that has impacted you in a meaningful way? Some ideas for a way that you could answer this, you can answer it with an unconventional passion like unicycling, or a long-term interaction with something like arts or music or sciences or sports or writing or another learned skill. You could also write about your experience of growing up and how the relationships in your life molded who you are today. You could write about your social environments and how they influenced your perception of yourself and the world around you. One thing that I would advise you to be cautious about, in this prompt it uses the word identity, and identity can mean racial identity or sexual orientation or gender. But remember, you need to consider your audience. So don't make sweeping claims about the state of today's race or sex or gender relations. Try to really focus in on talking about you and what's important to you and what has impacted you, without the possibility of maybe offending the reader. Why would a college want this question? They want to see your individuality. They also want to see your introspection and reflection. So if it's important to you to show your individuality and that you have the ability to reflect upon your experiences and grow, then this could be a good question for you. The second prompt, which was the 3rd most popular last year, the lessons we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental to later success. Recount a time when you faced a challenge, setback, or failure. How did it affect you, and what did you learn from the experience? When you're brainstorming possible responses to this essay, ask yourself, what facets of your personality allow you to overcome adversity, and how has the setback you're going to discuss changed the way you view challenges now? Some ideas. It could be a relatively mundane failure. Maybe you didn't win an award at a conference, or it could be a foundational failure that made you want to give up because you didn't see a solution at the time. Maybe like an argument that caused you to lose a friend. It could also be smaller, repeated failures that are linked or similar in the theme, like stuttering in large groups. The point of this essay is because colleges want to see your resilience and they want to see your self-awareness. So if those are 2 characteristics about yourself that you think are important for you to portray, this could be a good essay for you to choose. The 3rd one, reflect on a time when you questioned or challenged a belief or idea? What prompted your thinking? What was the outcome? Excuse me. When you're brainstorming a possible response to this essay, I would suggest writing the problem down and then developing various solutions, including a brief reason for each one. Some ideas: it could be a time you went against social norms, like becoming a friend with someone who seemed like an outcast. Or it could be your experience as a young person that doesn't have a college degree, surrounded by people who are professionals, like participating in a political campaign. It could be a time when you noticed a need for change and you came up with a solution, like creating a smartphone app. The purpose of this question is colleges want to see your curiosity, they want to see your assertiveness, and also your decision-making skills. The fourth prompt: describe a problem you've solved or a problem you'd like to solve. It can be an intellectual challenge, a research query, an ethical dilemma, anything that is of personal importance, no matter the scale. Explain its significance to you and what steps you took or could be taken to identify a solution. This is pretty open. It's saying that it can be something you've already done or just something you want to do. So when you're brainstorming, think about a problem that deeply concerns you and ask yourself, how did your interest in this subject originate? When you're thinking about a solution, think about what tangible change your solution could bring to people's lives. Some ideas: it could be an academic or an intellectual topic. Just be careful. Again, remembering your audience, don't go too overboard with intense, intricate discussions of astrophysics or the Renaissance. Try to make sure that you're keeping it in a way that anybody can read it and understand and not kind of zone out. You could write about an event or an experience that made you realize how serious a problem was, and then your specific plan to come up with or to execute your solution. Maybe you realize that there's, a drug problem in the world, and you plan to bring speakers to your school to stress those dangers. It could also be a more ambitious hypothetical problem that you would like to solve, like the complex environmental and economic problems of using fossil fuels. Just be careful, again, not to go too overboard with an intricate discussion, and also remember your audience. The purpose of this question is to show your personality or your identity. Also, colleges would like to see that you have dedication and problem-solving skills. If those are important attributes to you, this could be a good prompt for you to choose. Number 5, and this was the second most popular last year. Discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and a new understanding of yourself or others. For brainstorming, ask yourself, have you undergone a religious ritual or some kind of a social rite of passage? And if so, how did it contribute to your personal growth? Some suggestions: maybe it's a formal accomplishment or event that reveals your personal growth, like becoming an Eagle Scout. Maybe it's an informal event that shows more personality and creativity, like learning how to bake with your mother. You could write about a realization that caused you to join a new organization or quit an activity because doing so forced you to move out of your comfort zone. It could also be an experience you're still learning from today. Again, you don't need a happy ending or a solution. The reason for this question is because colleges want to see your desire to explore and grow, and they also want to know that you're introspective. The 6th prompt: describe a topic, idea, or concept you find so engaging that it makes you lose all track of time. Why does it captivate you? What or who do you turn to when you want to learn more? For brainstorming, one way you can do this is to use a web diagram. You can place the topic in the middle and branch off of it characteristics and themes or concepts that are captivating to you. This is a good essay where you can really play off your senses. You can consider, when you're engaged in that topic, idea, or concept, what do you see, feel, smell, hear, and taste, and incorporate that into your essay in a really vivid way. Some ideas: it could be something you enjoyed as a child that transformed into a passion today, like stargazing when you were younger spurred a love for physics now. It could be something that's evolved across cultures or over the course of history, like a passion for learning different languages. It could be something you're passionate about that requires intricate attention, like baking. Or it can be something that shows elegant and specific descriptions of sensory details. So it doesn't have to be something totally unique or strange, but it could be something that really allows you to vividly describe all of your sensory experiences when you're engaged in this topic, idea, or concept. The purpose of this question is the colleges want to see your dedication and also your originality. What's unique about you and how dedicated are you to that aspect? The final topic, which was the first most popular last year, share an essay on any topic of your choice. It can be one you've already written, one that responds to a different prompt, or one of your own design. I don't know if this is the most popular because students think they can just pick an essay that they wrote for English class or for another college and put it in here and get away with it. But you have to remember, this Common App essay is going to all of your schools, so you don't want to just take the easy way out. Maybe it was the most popular because it is so open-ended and gives students so much freedom. But do consider that it was the most popular, so if you are going to choose it, you really want to stand out. When you're brainstorming, think of a question that allows you to demonstrate your individuality and your confidence. Some suggestions, it could be a difficult topic, whether to raise or lower taxes, for instance. You could present information in a unique format. So you can take it out of an essay format and instead present it in a different way, like maybe a conversation with a historical figure. So this is a good way to maybe show some creativity here. It could be something unconventional. You could use maybe an extended metaphor to describe your entire high school career. Again, taking it out of an essay format. Or you, if you would like to, you can show your authority on a subject that you're extremely passionate about or an expert in by discussing it at a high level. Maybe you're really into Renaissance technology, and so this could be a good place to show that that's something interesting to you. Just make sure that you're using terminology that the audience can understand. The purpose for this question is to show your personality. Also, it helps give colleges insight into your thought process and what's important to you, your values. So those are the 7 prompts and some suggestions for how to get started on them and also a direction to take them in. At every point when writing this, make sure you're always thinking about what is it that the colleges want to see from me, and am I showing them that in this essay? Do they want to see my dedication? Am I showing that? Do they want to see my individuality? Am I showing that? So always remember, the point of this essay is to show your voice, to show your personality, to tell your story, to stand out in a way that isn't expressed through your scores and your GPA. And keep that in mind throughout the entire process. If you need any assistance with college essays, we are here to help. I will have links below for how you can reach out to us. We can work with you in person or remotely. We have a lot of experience with helping students outline and edit and kind of go through the entire college essay and application process. So feel free to reach out. Good luck with this.